Come on, guys, it's interactive.
Where hot and colds are, ghosts are cold?
Right, exactly. So we're looking for cold spots, legitimate. So this is a FLIR camera. So this is the legitimate, you know, it's not a phone app. We'll just put it out there. This is what firemen use to actually help save people. So this is a legit camera. Now, you should be able to see me in there, red, orange, and yellow guy, right? So this might work tonight. That means I'm the hottest thing inside the video, everybody. So, haha, yes, I got a couple of chuckles. Good. So, bachelorette parties that kills, especially when they show up half drunk. But we're looking for blue and black. That's the whole point. So, blue and black to either take shape or to start moving on their own. The cool thing about the way I have this camera set up is there's a blue dot that's bouncing around the screen. The blue dot shows you exactly where the coldest spot is in the frame at that particular moment to help guide your eye on where to look for cold spots. So again, it's just helping to guide your eye. There's also the temperature of that cold spot next to it. I normally look for about 15 to 20 degree temperature drops. So this isn't always a real-time find. A lot of this one is going to be going through the media the next day because they do upload the video to YouTube. Now, Justin, as great as the hardware is, the software sucks. So I'm going to give you the cues for the starts and stops. I'm going to stop it now.
Remember not to get this guy. He'll be down.
Yeah, this guy.
Look for spirits. Ghosts.
Taking pictures down?
Alright, anything weird coming out of your guys' so far? Have you heard anything happen? Okay. Anything coming out of yours? Okay, you will. It takes time, guys. It's not like you're going to pick this up right away. So what about yours, man? Nothing? Other than you're going to try to kill me? Got it. Alright, guys, you made it to your first legitimate space. Congratulations, it's a parking lot. I know, I told you I'm taking you to weird spots. So, first off, another warning about the cameras. Lots of cars in here tonight, so we're not going to be going near cars when we start spreading out. We're going to not go in between vehicles. So, 3.5 already. Good. So that's a low marker for this location, just so you know. But we're going to talk more about that one. So kind of keep the numbers until because you and I are going to, I'm going to push everybody away, and you and I are going to hang out for a few. So also keep in mind, this is not a place where I'm going to give you questions like what color is George Washington's white horse. I'm not going to give you those very simple questions. I'm going to be withholding information purposely. So where the heck are we? This is the Charles and Eliza Pinckney Mansion site. Their mansion actually sat in the front of this space up by East Bay Street, facing East Bay. Eliza's garden was lined up with Five Church Restaurant over there and came all the way across, and we are standing in the servant and slave quarters for the home. So I always like to give you the layout of the land before I give you the history. So who the heck were these people? They had a son named Charles. They had a nephew named Charles. That's 3 different Charleses, in case you lost track of those. So that's why we use secondary clues. We need to know which Chuck we're chatting with. So kind of keep that in mind. The son and the nephew were signers of the Constitution for South Carolina. That's a big deal for us South Carolinians, but I hate politics more than everybody here. We're going to move on. If I don't bring it up, it usually comes up on a spirit box in a very angry manner. It's the only reason why I bring it up to begin with. And Daniel's like, yeah, good, let's keep it that way. So, sorry. your whole, like, your smile is just, it's contagious. Just putting that out there. So, we're going to talk about Eliza. She married Charles at a young age according to today's standards, not the colonial times that she came from. For all of you communication device people, if you ask her how old she was when she got married, you're not going to get answers like 12 and 14, like you would hear from the 1700s. Think of today's standards. I bring this up because her husband was over double her age when they married. It was a creepy age gap back in the 1700s, definitely a creepy age gap now. So, am I boring you already? Come on, you gotta wake up. I call out every yawn, just so you guys know, you're ghost hunting. So, anyway, she married her husband because her father was over in England, where they're from, and he thought he was dying. He was trying to bring all of his kids home one last time. Eliza didn't believe he was dying, so instead, she stayed put and she got married to Charles. It's 1744, and you don't get married in 1744 for a green card. We're not even a country yet. So she did marry him out of love. There was no foul play or an affair, so don't poke the bear on that one. Talking about a very prominent English woman, by the way. But she was correct. Dad did not die right away. Instead, he starts sending her gifts from England to this space. One of those gifts happened to be the plant seeds of indigo. You guys have been in town for at least an hour that I know of. You've seen the word indigo somewhere, I promise you. Indigo is a plant that makes blue dye that makes our blue jeans blue. Some of you have it on tonight because that's how we use it. But when she got those seeds, she had no idea what to do with them. It takes very hot temperatures to be able to cultivate this, so she had to learn from her slaves on how to keep it going. It's obviously not hot here all the time, plus it's a difficult process to actually make the dye. When she figured it out, she moved it to a cash crop plantation, got a hold of her father, and said that the rice plantations were going downhill and that they were going to make a killing with the indigo. So we now have an international businesswoman during colonial times. That is something absolutely unheard of for that time frame. That's the boring stuff, which is what was causing DEANNA to yawn. So we're going to move on to the weird stuff because that's why you guys are all here. So let's get into the weird shit. What's going to happen is I'm going to kind of give a series of questions to all of the spirit box people, so that way you guys have something to focus on. Now, if something doesn't fit your fancy or you're not getting answers from your specific set of questions, cherry pick off of what I've given to other people. It's perfectly fine. Keep in mind, every communication device I have is out here tonight. If you're asking a question, that means the answer can go anywhere. It might go to my audio, the audio on Justin's camera, Luis's camera, or somebody else's spirit box. So just kind of keep in mind, if you're not getting an answer, doesn't mean we're not getting it, it's just not coming through on yours. So you could get it on yours or somebody else's. Let's go through the questions. DEANNA, yours you're gonna have to cherry pick, Alex, sorry, with the Ouija. But with yours, I want you to go after the children. I already told you there's one. His name was Charles. There are more. You can ask how many and what their names were, but that's it. The reason why I'm saying that's it, there's a tragedy among the children, and if we poke the bear, all activity will stop, including Daniel's small readings that we've gotten so far. So we don't want to poke the bear because then we'll all know it's DEANNA and we'll have to kick her off the tour. Is that fair? Yes, got it. So focus on the kids for now. If things don't occur, we'll see what else we got going on. With yours, the mansion's not here anymore. So where did the other SB11? So Samantha, this one's going to go for your questions too, because your two devices work exactly the same. Yours kind of gives us like 1 to 2 syllable terms, and it's not going to always give us full phrases. So your two sets of questions are going to be, what happened to the mansion? Obviously, it's not here anymore. And then when did that happen? Looking for a very specific date. You guys can also use the marriage question if you want, like how old she was, how long were they married, anything relative to the marriage would work in this location too, because we do get a lot of things wrapped around that. So kind of see what goes on with those.
We're supposed to ask this out loud?
Out loud, focus it, whatever you want to do, whatever people are comfortable with. So again, ghost hunting isn't like a steadfast thing, so kind of use your own discretion. So Amanda, with yours,
what do I ask?
Eliza's death. Anything you want to ask, how old she was, what she died from,
How old were you
where
when
she's
you got
buried,
married,
what president was a
Eliza?
pallbearer at her funeral. So again, these are obviously all non-specific answers. I'm going to give you a set too. So with yours gives us a lot of weird things. You're kind of like the catch-all, but I do want you to focus on, there was 2 different Elizas that we're dealing with.
Oh, shoot.
Charles married 2 different women named Eliza in the same year. So the first wife died in January. He married the one we just talked about in May. So kind of a jerk move if you really think about it. Both Elizas have a maiden name that starts with the letter L. Figure out which Eliza we're dealing with. I would also kind of go after what happens to the mansion in this location too, because that shows up on yours quite a bit. So we are going to spread out. Again, keep in mind, lots of vehicles in here. Don't go in between the cars. These cars belong to people that work down here. A lot of times they come down here for their breaks and they'll take a nap. We don't need to shove a infrared camera in their car as they're kind of trying to take a nap. So kind of keep that in mind. I am going to keep Daniel behind so I can show him how to use this guy. And then I'm going to be bouncing around with all of you so that way I can see what's going on with your devices. After I do 2 quick round robins with everybody, I'll pull everybody back here, get us all the answers, and kind of do a collective of what actually happened in the space while we were here, and then we'll move on to our next location. So kind of I just like to give you the gist of what's going to happen. So spread out, have some fun. Daniel, you stick with me. You can stick with us too if you want to.
I think just so we can all ask the questions.
I'm good.
Just in this parking lot area?
Yeah, because I feel like you might see things over there. Okay, Charles, what month did you marry the second Eliza? What month did the first Eliza die?
Oh, something happened over there.
I know. Do you remember the difference between the 2 Charles?
I don't.
Do you remember?
I don't.
Okay. Which Charles is here right now? Charles, which Eliza did you like more? 1 or 2? Which one? That'd be funny. The second one. Are you getting anything?
I don't know. It's hard to tell.
And he said like it'd be moving. Like if you see it, not only would you see the blue, like the blue dot goes on the coldest thing, but he's like, you're looking for blue things that move. Like see how the sky is blue? You'd be looking for like a blue figure.
That moves.
I was 96.
I'm not gonna lie, I don't know what to ask anymore because I wasn't really listening at first. Like I don't.
It's okay. You asked it.
I know. I think I just keep asking because there. He said there's 2 Charles and 2 Elizas. I don't know how to know when my thing is going off. You know.
Are you supposed to press it at a
Do you
certain time?
see the way that you're doing this? This is how you should take pictures of me all the time. You should always have your camera out like that. Let's go over by this 45. Oh.
Watch out.
Eliza, did it bother you when that car just pulled in on you? Yes. How does it feel? Tourist. Eliza, was your name spelled with an S or a Z? Because a letter could pop up. Let's go back this way because everyone's coming up. He said he'll come group by group.
After the extra.
Yeah, he'll come group by group and explain to us. No, because so far I haven't pushed the button or anything.
Oh, you haven't?
No, but I don't want to. And
Okay.
I don't think mine's recording, so I think mine's like I push the button if we get something else, I think, to see if it matches or something. But mine's not recording. I'm so glad I don't have one of the listening ones.
Where you have to like hear like creepy stuff.
Yeah, no.
The person's like, I want to creepy. That was
Yeah,
creepy.
like, I just
that
want-
would have like not made me sleep well when I
Yeah,
heard
like-
that.
But she's like, I think I heard this. It's like, did you? I want to see, you know, when we walk into those alleyways and stuff, you know, what we get.
So again, it's only going to give you like 12 to 15 terms, through our whole night together. So when it does come through, it's going to be clear as a bell.
Okay.
So I mean,
So when I'm walking around, I'll have it unmuted.
yeah.
Okay.
I'm sorry if I didn't give you that cue.
Oh, yeah, I did.
I kind of meant to like, hey, crank those spirit boxes up, go have some fun. But yeah, you're going to get little things like that from time to time.
Okay.
And you can't really mess with the volume on that one because it has to be set with the auto noise canceling on a basic level.
Yeah.
So you seem like this technology, Justin, is something somewhat familiar to me. To you. What do you do for a living?
I'm in school right now, actually.
Okay.
But I've actually worked with
He was
technology.
in the
like this in
military.
past. Yeah. So I'm familiar with FLIR technology, actually.
I just seen a lot of head nods. Like, yep,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
how that one works. That one's how that
Yeah,
goes.
yeah,
Well, if you're in the military, you're definitely familiar with thermals.
Yeah, I'm familiar with this.
So I picked the right guy.
Yeah.
That's low voltage. You
Yeah.
got the gist.
This is cool when I turned on Eliza. How old were you when you married Charles? This one is weird with the music. Eliza, what month did you die? Eliza, what? This is interesting. I don't know. I think if it answers me or
We'll
something.
ask the things before. Say again.
Eliza, what month did you die?
So it's like saying something.
I don't think this one records. Eliza, what month or how old were you when you got married?
Say something. Say something.
It's hard to know though.
Wait. Say it again. I said something.
Eliza, how old were you when you got married to Charles? It's kind of hard because he said it comes through like the radio. Eliza, how do you feel about Charles leaving you for another woman named Eliza? Eliza, how do you feel that Charles moved on so fast after you died?
There's a lot of chatter coming when you ask these questions.
Charles, which of the two Elizas was
It's
your
okay,
favorite
so-
Eliza?
Let's give this, like,
Because what if it was like number 2?
yeah.
You never know. It's coming through. They're using like the radio to like come through. Charles, what year did you die? Eliza, what month did you die? This is hard. I'm muting it for a second. This is a lot of responsibility. Let's keep walking so we get steps. Turning it back. Eliza, what?
What did it say?
I don't know. I can't really.
It says something.
Eliza, what part of town did you live in? Saying something, but I don't know what. Eliza, are you trying to talk to me? Jesus. That's what I thought it said. Eliza, are you coming through? Well, you're not supposed to ask yes or no. Eliza, what was your husband's name? Eliza, what was your husband's name? This is hard because I feel like I don't know enough history to ask
okay.
questions.
Just keep doing what you're doing.
Eliza, how old
It seems to like respond whenever you ask it.
I'm pausing for a second. I think the only way it would work is if like the radio happened to be playing what it needed to answer. Because it's like using the radio waves, he said, right?
Yeah, put it back on. Is it on?
you're looking at.
You got anything coming out of there yet, Samantha?
Nothing that I can't really make anything
There's been a lot of
out.
noise,
Yeah, like
but-
definitely a lot of
Yeah.
like chatter and things coming
Okay.
When
through.
she asks a question, like there's a lot of chatter. that
Things
comes
will
back.
come up, but it's hard to hear.
Gotcha. And it's not an easy job. Spirit boxes are definitely not easy. So when I get you guys the recording from the earbud one tomorrow morning, you're gonna see, like, that's the first thing I do with my first cup of coffee. I get that one done and out of the way because it's the hardest one and it takes the longest.
Yeah.
But you're gonna see when you're like, how the hell did he even find this shit? Like, it can be very difficult, especially if you're not trained on how to listen to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not easy. If something does come through, it'll be loud and clear.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Awesome. So what am I looking for? Just like a moving blue kind of like.
blue and
figure?
black, I don't always follow up with the cameras in real time because I
Yeah.
do splice these videos together and put them up on YouTube
Yeah.
and watch them on a nice big computer screen.
Okay.
So again, it might not always be a real-time catch. If you do find something in real time, I kind of take a quick peek at it, see if there's anything I can debunk right away. If
Okay.
not, I'm like, I write it down to like check, oh, we are in this alley.
Yeah.
I need to check the thermal on this alley.
Okay.
So again, if I'm not following up with you specifically, it's because it's not always a real-time
Okay,
moment.
gotcha.
The camera's small.
Sounds good.
But when I question something, me and my daughter watch it on a TV.
Yeah.
So it like goes up on the 50-inch and we look
Yeah.
at it frame by frame.
Okay.
So it's a lot more fun that way.
Yeah.
I'll say
Yeah.
that.
I bet.
All right. What we got? Anything we got?
Cleared it. We got
I'm ready for the next location
Yeah,
now.
we'll see.
It's very interesting.
Wow. Making a lot of noise.
levels.
Levels. You said levels, right?
I put our ghost hunting tools.
Love you.
Something.
$1,000.
Is that how much money they had? I'm pretty sure I heard Party in the USA earlier too, like the Miley Cyrus song.
Oh, really?
Must be playing on the radio. Eliza, did you like to party in the USA?
What year was this? Did all this happen?
Not
Before was in the 1700s, right? Was it before?
Maybe they were
The US
first
was
generation
yeah.
to the United States. That's why we're getting party in the USA. What did you feel about Eliza?
All right, let's get us all some answers. Come on over, guys. Let's group this back together.
I muted.
All right. Anything come up out of yours since I walked away?
No,
Said a couple of
I
things,
said like
but-
$1,000.
And levels
I
and
heard
some-
"Party in the USA,"
Party
the
in the
Miley
USA.
Cyrus song.
What was the last one?
It was the Miley Cyrus song.
Oh.
That song.
I was gonna say, everybody tells me that they heard Harry Styles.
Huh.
What's funny is I don't give a shit
Well-
that you heard Harry Styles. I want to know that you heard "As It Was," the lyric. So that kind of proves the point. But what's funny is everybody tells me I thought you said Harry Styles,
Oh.
not Miley
Oh.
Cyrus.
I'll listen
So, any other weird things since last I followed up with any of you? Anything else come up super weird? I'm excited about a couple of things. So somebody heard "Burn It Down." That is relevant to the space, and the number 11. That's going to make more sense once we get there. The number 28 is also relevant. I don't normally bring that up, but I'm 99% positive that that is the date of Eliza's birthday, December 28th. I could be mistaken. The other number it could be is December 27th. I know it's right around Christmas, and we did get the word Christmas here last night. So again, it was kind of a weird thing. It's like, oh yeah, that actually is relevant, even though we're coming up on Halloween. So those are probably the most prominent things that I'm excited about. As far as the cameras go, again, it's not always a real-time moment, which, by the way, if you guys want to give your hands a break, you can stop your videos at this point, because I'm going to be showing you, like, the... So no specific names that came through. Alright, so where the heck are we? By the way, if you have a video camera, by all means, get them turned on. Don't film the people working or any other groups that will be coming through here. We're starting to get closer to the more popular areas. I'm sure you guys picked up on the fact that you can start your police, just kind of keep it. Yeah, we do capture a lot of work with that location in here. Lasers, if you want to shine one down, you can, and that way, just while we're here, just make sure it stays on the ground. So, I know it was a long trek, but it's the only long trek that we do, because I'm taking you to legitimately haunted locations. Where the heck are we? When we were coming down East Bay Street and we crossed that last crosswalk, that was where the original Charlestown walls used to be. So, the original Charlestown walls were basically went up Cumberland Street and they were across the street on East Bay from where we were walking. So they went south from here, which means you're standing on one of the first streets that we ever had. I have the full list of residents of every person that's ever lived down here. You guys normally give me the same two names over and over and over again every 6 to 7 weeks. Those names are Benjamin and John. Now, there were 4 different Johns that lived down here in a 60-year time frame, so John likes to give us his last name too, Johnson. His mother was evil and named him John Johnson. So we do get the name John, Johnson, and Benjamin all in the same evening during the 6 to 7 week part of the loop. We're in week 3. I wasn't expecting you guys to hear Benjamin and John, but I never know. I will say that when people, I said I have the full list, don't be too impressed. Only 2 to 5 people live down here at a time. Benjamin and John both live down here at the same time. So that's 2 out of 5 people every 6 to 7 weeks. The only thing I can really explain to you is why it's happening. The bricks you're standing on that are very crooked as we kind of go through here, they've been here since 1739 that we know of. We don't even know the exact year. Yeah, they've been laid in 1739. That's how long they've been here. These are what we call Belgian blocks. They're made out of granite. Now, we're dealing with the stone tape theory here. You guys all seem like you're somewhat into the paranormal. You've probably heard the phrase before, but let me give you a quick explanation. Anything made of the earth, like granite, that's been in the same place for a long period of time, can hang on to the memories of the things that occurred in that space. That's why you might hear that a castle has been haunted and gets a residual ghost, because it works on a loop. It's replaying it over and over again, like it's recording it. Stone tape theory. Weird thing about granite is it's not supposed to have an electrical charge whatsoever. Quartz, the rock, has an electrical charge. Magnetite has an electrical charge. Daniel, I want you to literally set your device on the ground. Turn off the REM pod, which is the white button in the back. We're going to be focused on the numbers in this location. Up to 1.1 is natural. I would expect that. We have seen it go as high as 15 in this location. As we get closer to that loop, I still test it every night. You're at an absolute zero. Pick up your device. We're not going to get anything out of it tonight. Again, kind of a dud in this location, but it is an interesting space because you might be missing something else. Another piece of what goes on down here, this used to be where the Freemasons Masonic Lodge used to be, hence the name Lodge Alley. So, we do get terms relative to the Freemasons. The funny thing is as we're rounding the corner, those of you using earbuds will chuckle and say that you heard the word Illuminati coming through a radio station. Now, we're going to let this gentleman pass through when he gets down this way. Oh, he's turning. But here's the funny thing about Illuminati coming through on a radio station. It's on a radio station. Who the hell's talking about the Illuminati on the radio? That's the first question. The second thing is why are we only hearing it while we're in this space? 6 times last year, 3 times this year it has occurred. And I have verified all 9 of those occurrences. We'll get other terms like founding fathers, Mason, bricks, you get the picture. We do get a lot of terms wrapped around the Freemasons. I don't like to go into conspiracy theories with you here, but it's part of the reason why we're here is because it's kind of like a double location. We don't spend a lot of time here because, again, we're in the middle of the loop. I'm not expecting a whole lot. We couldn't even get an EMF out of a brick. So I always focus on almost the whole part of why we're here, which is a good 5 to 7 minutes from spirit box recordings and video, because we do capture any kind of orbs that will come through here as well. Things have passed through the lasers at this location, which is why we use them when I have them out. But here's where we're going next. We're going to go to another alley. Do you have any other words that are showing up on your word list, by the way?
I mean, I got like 3 like really like quickly in a row.
What were they?
It was just less, okay, top, less, endless, worth, difference, and associate.
So you have topless.
Yeah.
Here's the interesting thing. That's weird. And I don't think I've ever seen that. A lot of the women that live down here were seamstresses. You guys getting my point? Yeah, they probably would have walked around topless to try to attract new clients. So, interesting point. I'm going to see if I can find any actual evidence of that. But it did stick out to me that you said top and then less. And especially if they showed up in that specific order, like, yeah, that's going to stick out to me for sure. Not because I'm a perv, but because of where we are. Yeah, I got to make you guys chuckle every once in a while. Make sure you're awake. So, the next space we're going to go to is another alley. However, I can't take you all the way through it like what we're doing here, going all the way through this one, because I've been kicked out of the other end because it's residential. You guys have all the blinky lights and laser lights and that kind of thing, noisemakers. You guys get the point. I am going to tell you how I got kicked out of there because that's a fun part of the story, but we're getting into more of the staple ghost stories around Charleston, but you're ghost hunting, which means I'm telling you different versions because there's way more research going into it than we're standing around a campfire telling ghost stories. So, any other weird phrases being heard before we leave the space? As we exit the alley, no filming will be done because we're cutting through a neighborhood to get to the next alley. So you're going to shut off your cameras. You can turn them back on once we get into that other location. But keep in mind, other tours may be passing through, so be very discreet with your filming. They did not pay to get filmed like you guys did. So they paid for $10 tickets to hear campfire stories. So did I say that out loud? Yes, I did, apparently. All right, so I'm excited about topless. I know this sounds gross, but yeah, I'm excited about that one. That's pretty cool. I don't think I've ever seen that come
Can
through.
we be in the back? Because I'm going to turn this back on.
I'm going to turn it off once we...
Yeah, he said once we get to that. I'm excited.
This is the hotel we stayed at. Right here.
Maybe.
Oh yeah, it was definitely around here.
I'm going to be looking for Johnson to verify that. That'd be really cool, especially if it was right in the middle of the loop. So, again, when people... Have you guys heard anything else on the way here? Seen anything? All right. Compel you?
Compel?
That's kind of a cool one. Let's see what comes up with that. All right, so other tours may be passing through here. When that happens, we'll just kind of split the seas. So, welcome to Philadelphia Alley. This is a weird space. It's a cool space, but it's definitely a staple for Charleston. Every ghost tour comes down here. We all tell the same story. You're going to get different details out of me, like I said, because we're ghost hunting. We're not, listening to marshmallows crackle over the fire. Here's how it goes. This used to be called Dueler's Alley. This is where some of the duels used to occur for the city of Charleston. So, there's a duel that specifically we all talk about, but it's because we can actually prove it. Here's how it goes. A doctor moves down here from Rhode Island. His name is Dr. Joseph Brown Ladd. He moves down here because he's supposed to get married to his fiancée, Amanda. What's that?
In this alley.
Is that what you just heard?
Whoa.
Remind me to write that one down. That
Okay.
one's really cool. So Amanda, his fiance, just inherited a bunch of money from her dead parents. She has an attorney helping her out with all of this cash flow, and the attorney thinks that Dr. Ladd is just after Amanda's money. So he tells Amanda, get rid of the doctor. So Dr. Ladd comes to Charleston to prove that he's not after her money. The coachman that brought him into town set him up to be robbed and killed. It wasn't a good start, but somebody was walking by. His name was Ralph Isaacs. He saw what was about to happen, and I stopped on Ralph for a second because, again, you're ghost hunting, and initials normally mean something, which is where the Ouija board comes in. This is the location of why I bought the Ouija board. The initials RI show up here a lot because Ralph has the same initials as where the doctor came from. Even before the Ouija board, RI was showing up on other spirit boxes. So just kind of keep that in mind. We just need the secondary clue because we need to know which person it belongs to. Ralph tells the doctor, you don't want to stay here, man. I know this guy. He's going to try to kill you. I got a place at 59 Church Street with some friends of mine. You can rent a room from them, and you'll be good to go. The number 59 often shows up here, by the way. Just pointing that out. So, we got a full list already?
Yeah.
You have RI in the middle of there anywhere?
Or are you at the end?
Nope. Damn it. Not a Rufus.
26.
No. None of those. That doesn't match up either. I had to think of his age when done.
Side of the
Anyway,
alley.
so where was I? So Ralph says, rent a room at 59 Church Street, you'll be good to go. So him and Ralph become friends. The longer the doctor stays here in Charleston, the more money he's making. He's proving his point that he wasn't after Amanda's cash. Amanda's moving down soon because she got word of his money, and she's going to be getting married soon. So Dr. Ladd becomes known as the Whistling Doctor. Every haunted city you're ever going to visit in the future is going to have a cliched whistling ghost. I can guarantee it. Did you guys hear the gentleman whistling as he was coming through? He knew the damn story. Just kind of, but there is actual proof of this whistling doctor. We're going to get to that. Dr. Ladd and Ralph go see plays together. They can't sit next to each other because Dr. Ladd makes more money. He gets better seats. That's the way the hierarchy works in Charleston. They talk about these plays on the way home. They go see Richard III one night from Shakespeare, and they're arguing over the new actress that was in town. Dr. Ladd thought she was fantastic. Ralph, not so much. The argument gets even more heated when Ralph starts insulting the doctor's fiancée, Amanda, back home in Rhode Island. Obviously, it gets very ugly, and they go their separate ways. I told you Ralph has a lot of friends here, so he goes to see his friends at the newspaper, and he puts an ad in the paper telling the whole city of Charleston what he thinks of the doctor. Kind of a disgrace to society kind of mentality bullshit that you would be really pissed off about, too. Dr. Ladd sees the newspaper ad, and he rebuttals with, let's go to Jeweler's Alley. We're going to settle this shit once and for all. It was 1786. He didn't say settle this shit, just so you guys know. So they come down here, they take their 10 paces, they turn, the doctor points his gun in the air, and he shoots. He did not want to kill his friend. He just wanted to have the courage and bravery to show up to the fight, which is often what happened at a duel, by the way, for all you Hamilton watchers. Ralph has his one bullet. He puts it in the kneecap on the doctor. He doesn't kill him. He proves his point that he's still pissed off. Dr. Ladd drops to the ground. His friends pick him up. They carry him home to 59 Church Street, where he dies 10 days later. Some rumors say it was 4 days later. Now, the funny thing is, if it's 4 days later, today would be that date of the duel. Now, again, it just depends on which version of the story you're reading. I usually tell the version that it was 10 days later, so on that specific date, I also pointed out that it could have been that specific day. But today is a highly likely date as well. You have to remember that he's also a doctor. He refused medical treatment when he went home. He tried to bleed out this bullet himself. So if we had the word bleeding here, Miss Emily, that would be more relevant to this location because he tried to bleed it out. We do get a lot of keywords from this location at this space while we're here, and also at our very last stop. So the ghost story part of this is that as you walk through the alley, you can hear the whistles from the doctor. I want you to keep in mind that every local knows the story, which is why I pointed out that gentleman whistling earlier. If you're going to try this on your own and walk all the way through and use the voice recorders on your phone to listen to it later, keep in mind anybody walking up and down Cumberland or Queen Street is going to throw a whistle down the alley. I do it every single night. We end up there, and my parking garage is this way, so I always throw a whistle every time I pass the alley. When my daughter's on the tour with us, we race to see who's going to throw the whistle first. So it's going to be a very faint whistle in the background. If you hear how quiet it is here now, it's like this on a busy Saturday afternoon. Don't ask me how or why, but that's why they say you can hear the whistling. There's also cases where they say you can actually hear the gunshots. I don't have anything from the gunshots, so just kind of keep that in the back of your brains. You guys want to hear how I got kicked out of here? That's the fun part. Oh, Alex like, yeah, let's do this. This alley didn't come all the way through, so it ended at this side, which means that side, those bricks are older. Those bricks are sun-dried bricks from slave children. There's a full handprint We did get the word hand here twice last night, which is very interesting. And the handprint is from a slave child in one of those bricks. So basically those kids had to turn those bricks in the sun to bake them. So they weren't going into an oven. My team always wanted to hover around that brick to try to get a reading out of it. November 26th of 2020, my entire team of 10 people was hovered around one brick waiting for something to happen. I treat that brick the same way I do a grave. That kid's not staring at that brick in the afterlife, everybody. That's the last place he wants to be. However, I will say we did get the word hand last night, so can't deny it that something could happen. But I'm trying to scurry them along because it's outside the dining room window of a beautiful mansion at the end of the alley. It is residential. I was new at this, didn't really know all my bounds yet, and I was out of bounds. The owner of the mansion came out screaming. My daughter thought it was great because Dad's getting yelled at. We moved on. What the heck is that going on? You can't pull down here. Oh, turning around. I was going to say, yeah, this is not a ghost light area. Like, what is happening? So, at any rate, the next day was Thanksgiving. I did not have a tour that day because I worked in retail management for 20 years before this. So, I'm never working another Thanksgiving ever. The next day was November 28th. These dates are relevant. I'm getting to it. I get a phone call asking me to go down halfway or to reroute my group because halfway is the limit of where we're allowed to go. So I decided it wasn't fair for my group of 10 to try to work around 20 to 60 people that are normally down here. So I told the story outside the alley and we moved on. And I told my group that we're going to reroute and I don't really believe in the story we're going to next because I don't have any evidence to prove it. And I'm a vampire guy, not a pirate person. Before we left, somebody heard the name Anne on a spirit box. I did not tell them we were going to be investigating the female pirate Anne Bonny. So I went, oh shit, maybe something's actually going to happen. We get down there, I told the little bit I did know about piracy at the time. Somebody else hears the number 300. So I was kind of like, I don't know what that is. I'm going to research it tomorrow. So when I'm doing the research, we were there November 28th of 2020. Anne Bonny's trial for piracy was November 28th of 1720. We were there on the exact 300-year anniversary of her pirate trial.
Wow.
So, here's the thing. I have read more damn books on pirates than I ever wanted to, like in my life. Because again, I'm a vampire guy. Everything we're about to discuss at the next location is based off of more than 2 resources. Reason being is because it's based on pirate lore. Trying to piece together a factual investigation on lore is very difficult, and y'all need to be lucky that I have a master's degree in creative writing and could piece this together for us. So, keep that in the back of your brains. It is also a hit or miss location. I think we did okay at the Pinckney Mansion site. I'm excited about the weird things we got at Lodge Alley. So we actually did pretty okay with Topless and a couple of Johns. So look at the phrase, right? But over here, you guys are obviously focused on me, so I don't know what's going to come out of this location. But we will get bleed over from this space into the powder magazine as well, just based on how close in proximity they are. Have we heard anything else out of this location before? Are we seeing anything on our word list, Ouija boards, anything going on?
I heard 1888.
That's actually relevant. Let's talk about it now. Let's get it out of the way. Normally I don't tell, it's weird because we had a clue to this story here last night too. On the other side of this wall is a cemetery. You're going to see when we go up and around the corner that every ghost tour stops at the front of that cemetery because there's a sign inside the gate that says there's no ghost here but the Holy Ghost. It is their big finale. And I let them have it normally. I don't interrupt them. The reason why that sign is there is because in 1888, you just have the exact year, a young lady died by the name of Sue Howard Hardy. Somebody give me her initials. What does that spell?
Sue what?
Sue Howard Hardy. Exactly. We get it all the time. It's campy, it's cheesy, I hate telling you, so I've been actually asking you guys to repeat it back to me. So she dies 6 days after her stillborn child. It's a very sad story. They make it some big elaborate drama. However, 1987, local photographers taking pictures of cemeteries, putting a book together, and he captures a full apparition. Yeah, it's usually in like the top 50 of things as far as apparitions caught. Now, he sends it to Kodak because he can't figure out, I know it's kind of chilly down here, you're like freezing to death, I can see everybody kind of squirming, and, Kodak authenticates the picture that it was taken from the type of camera that he claimed, and it was not altered in any way. Now for guys like me, this picture is gold, but it is cursed to females. So, here's the curse. Females that handle it, even in a digital format like a tablet or a phone, it is said that, same symptoms we talked about at the beginning. So headache, nausea, dizziness, that kind of thing. Pregnant females, probably not going to have a good pregnancy based on the gist of the story. So when I go around and show this picture, I'm going to ask that you guys don't touch my damn tablet. I don't need somebody who's having a great vacation or honeymoon and 9 months later I cursed your family. So I'm not going to be that guy. So, but again, keep in mind when we go up to that corner, it's usually very busy and flooded with other ghost tours. But yeah, this way we can actually just focus straight on pirates. I usually just point out like, hey, did you guys see the other ghost tours around the corner? So I'll kind of go around 2 by 2 so everybody can see the picture. That's the full picture. Your apparition is right here, looking at a woman praying over her own grave with the baby basket next to her. I want you to also keep in mind that this is an instance where the baby is probably buried with mom because there's no record of the baby's birth or death. So, looking at her back, her shoulders, baby basket next to her.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, it comes a little bit more clear when it's right in front of you.
Yeah.
It's just a photo.
Yeah.
Wow. I was like, that's a number though.
It's right there. So you're looking at a woman praying over her own grave with the baby basket next to her.
Oh my gosh.
So this is again.
When was this taken?
1987.
That's black.
And this showed up as he was
Yeah,
developing
it's
it, which is probably why it has that little bit of the yellow film to it, because he probably didn't finish the developing of it because it looks so odd. So again, woman praying over her own grave with a baby basket next to her. So this is a pretty big picture when you look up legitimate, apparitional pictures. So in the event, because you had 1888 and I have to give you a link, I will always tell you if the link has the picture in it. It will say warning, so females are not opening it by accident on their phones. So again, I take this very seriously. This is my only career, guys. Like, this is all I do all day long and study this shit. So it's not like I go to a day job in the morning. This is it. So I take it very seriously, and again, I'm not going to be the guy where I cursed your family. So I'm excited about 1888. That's a good one. So, very interesting. Do we have anything on the word list, by the way?
I'll just read you what I got so far.
Okay.
I have myself, square, frontier, appointment, implication, L, appropriate, Ida, oracle, the number 2, dance, Alice.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah, I've been getting a lot today.
That's really weird. Any weird numbers? It's interesting. Any letters coming out of yours, Alec? Yeah, I got nothing. Might as well clear it. Those initials have been showing up, by the way, SHH have been showing up on Emily's device. What's funny is I'll get teenagers that I usually give the spirit box to because the history can be long for them. And they put both earbuds in.
Max right in the middle here. One of the previous ones.
Was that here?
I was standing here.
But a teenager listening with both ears doesn't hear me. So they might say, somebody just shushed me. They told me to shut up. They said, shut up. And I was like, and we all start laughing because that's the initials for SHH. So it has happened in the past. All right, so for those of you with, I'm trying to think, yes, that camera's on your right side. It should be on your left. Are you recording?
Yes.
So now it's going to be upside down. So you're going to stop your video.
I like pirates. Where's my mute button? Am I going? Am I on? I don't know if it's on or not. Oh, there it's on.
think we walked around here before.
Yeah, we did. This is where we learned a cemetery versus, what's it called? Cemetery versus graveyard.
You use the bathroom, honestly. I'm about to use that porta potty.
Yeah.
I'm actually about to use it.
Just that you can't. We're in the middle of a thing.
For this space, that's definitely weird. 1066. What?
10.
Yeah, I got nothing. None of that. Been looking for you. Anybody else got anything?
Infantry?
That's interesting. Anybody else? Word list? Nothing?
Oh, I got trial, reverse, and unable.
I like trial. We're going to be talking about that trial for Ann Bonnie.
And limb. I just removed.
So seriously, is Dad and Amanda okay?
Huh?
Are Dad and Amanda okay?
Yeah, he has like a big blister on his foot.
Oh,
And it was really
jeez.
killing him, and we couldn't get him to go, so she made
Gotcha.
a school thing.
No, you're fine. I totally get it. I didn't think it was a school thing. Like, it's
Yeah.
Friday. Like,
That's
work
what
on
I
a
said.
Friday night.
I know, right?
It's like,
But now it's on the
homework
audio.
assignment.
They're all going to know we were talking about it.
I said what I said.
But I always like to double check just to make sure
Yeah.
there was nothing major.
No, yeah, they normally love this stuff. So.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Perfect.
she would.
Well, medically, I was more worried
Oh,
about that.
yeah.
It wasn't that they weren't having fun, because who doesn't have
22.
fun goes hunting?
Yeah.
22?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's the wrong number for this location. That would have been great back at Pinckney.
Sorry.
Anyway, you guys weren't listening, were you? I didn't hear your...
No.
Okay.
Well, I
It's okay.
kind of was, but I wasn't hearing anything.
It's okay. At this space, once I give you the history, we're going to spread out like what we did at the Pinckney Mansion site. The cool thing is we can spread, because this is our last stop. You get to kind of go a little bit nuts in here. We're going to be discussing that little tiny building over there, and I'll kind of give us direction on where we can go and where we can't go, just based on the other tours moving around. So, now that we've already covered Sue Howard Hardy, did you guys see the big, large group up there by the church? That's
Yeah.
where the sign is. So, once we spread out... for those-
Crying out loud.
That's a good one. Crying. What was funny was last night in that alley we had baby cry.
Oh, okay.
So, which is weird because the baby wouldn't have been crying because he or she was stillborn. So again, I have to put these clues together, man. Like it would have been the mom crying. Remind me to write that one down. I want to kind of get into the pirates.
Okay,
That's
okay.
cool. We're going to be discussing that little tiny building over there with the crosses on it. Those are not crosses on there. Those are earthquake bolts. If you're not familiar with earthquake bolts, they're basically turnbuckles. So in the event we have another earthquake, like what we did in 1886, which we have not, you can turn the turnbuckles this way, and they will basically tighten the building back up so that way it doesn't incur any further damage. It's a great idea, but it's bullshit. It doesn't work. So the reason I bring these up is because that's the first set of earthquake bolts that Charleston put in. You guys have been seeing them all over town. Even the little apartment building behind it actually has them on both of them, so they kind of cross over each other this way. But this is the first that they put in because that's the oldest government building in South Carolina. It was finished in 1713, which is exactly why we're here. We're here because this place is what I call a familiar. This is like using a toy to attract a child ghost. It's the same principle. We've dealt with the residual, we've dealt with intelligent, now we have a familiar. That's why it's a hit or miss, because we don't have many buildings this old, but there are other buildings around this time frame. This building was being constructed at the same time that Ann Bonnie came here to start her new life. This building took 10 years to build. Does that sound like our government? Small building, 10 years? No, not at all. I'll answer for you. We'll be politically correct. Our story begins right in the middle of that. Follow me, there's a lot of twists. And I dropped the bag because I get a little animated with pirate stories because I know a shit ton about them now. 1708, young lady moves here from Ireland. Her name is Anne Cormac. She moves here with her father and his mistress. The mistress turns out to be Anne's mother. Is everybody with me so far? Okay, good. Head nods are good. I know, it can get a little twisted if I talk too fast here. The three of them are running away from her father's angry wife. How pissed was the wife that they had to leave Ireland to come here by boat? Just pointing that out. Anyway, they land in Georgetown. Dad bought a plantation. Mom died pretty quickly. That means he has to send young Anne down here to be able to sell anything from the plantation, help keep the family thing going. Now, that's why we're here. Familiar building. So, Anne back home in Ireland, kind of a badass. They say she actually killed one of her servants when she was only 7, 8, or 9 years old, remember it's pirate lore, with a knife to the belly. We will get those two terms, and I like to, put that mentality of this young lady in the back of your brains as we go through her story. Fast forward, the building's done in 13. By 1715, the pirates are coming through town, and Anne is stoked. She's gonna fall in love so she can earn her freedom, just like a man, because it's a man's world at that point. Guy number 1. Yes, I said number 1, because there's a handful, and we're gonna go through them. First guy, James Bonney. You already see where this one's going, because we already mentioned her full married name already. Dad didn't approve because he's a filthy pirate. They run away to Jamaica, they get married, and Cormac is now Anne Bonny, the famous female pirate. So, this guy is not Captain Jack Sparrow that she was hoping for, because every young lady wants a Captain Jack Sparrow, am I correct? Especially in that time.
Yep.
But this guy is a privateer. He's a spy for the British. He just looked at you like, what? So, spy for the British means that he's a coward in her eyes. This is not the guy that she wants. So she falls in love again, guy number 2. This is John Rackham, a.k.a. Calico Jack. This is literally the person they based your Captain Jack Sparrow character off of for your Disney films, just so you know. Jack does have his own ship and wants to be part of it. Can't put a girl on a pirate crew. Does anybody know why?
Superstition.
Bad luck, yeah.
Bad luck.
Yeah.
Right. So, good for you. Normally I get some dirty stuff on there. Thanks for keeping it family friendly. Appreciate that. So he makes a deal with her. If you dress like a guy, you can be part of the crew. But you're going to be a female in my quarters. She's okay with this because Dad used to cross-dress her as a boy to hide her away from his wife back home in Ireland. She knows it's a man's world, but she wants to be a pirate. She's good, let's go. We're all adults here, let's put 2 and 2 together. Being a female in his quarters, she's eventually going to get pregnant. You cannot have a pregnant pirate dude on the crew. Somebody's going to figure out that she's a girl and that Jack let her on the ship. And that means they're going to vote him off the ship. So he drops her off in Cuba before she starts the show, and he says, these are friends of mine, they're going to help you with the birthing of the child, and come back later, we'll figure it out. She has the child, but returns with no child. We have no idea what happened to the baby. No amount of research I find, I can't find anything. But the irony of the story, of that part of the story, is that she comes back dressed as a female, which makes Jack pretty angry. And he captured another pirate crew while she was away giving birth, and they're down below deck. She's going to go flirting with that pirate crew to make him even more mad, because that's who Anne Bonny is. Guy number 3. Guy number 3 turns out to be a female, dressed like a guy to be part of the pirate crew that Calico Jack captured. Her name is Mary Reed. She went by Mark Reed to become a pirate. Her and Mary become friends, possibly lovers. We're never going to really know for sure, but the British find out where they are, and they send a fleet of ships to take down one pirate ship. Very interesting indeed. Anne and Mary are the only 2 pirates that we know of that came up because they weren't drunk enough to come, or the other pirates were too drunk to come up and fight, but they only have 1 bullet flintlocks, probably because they don't know how to use the cannon jet. 2 ladies with flintlocks are not going to take on a fleet of ships. So as they're being arrested, Anne looks at her captain, her beau, Calico Jack, and she says, you should have fought like a man instead of being hanged like a dog. The word dog shows up here a lot, just so you guys know. It's a very famous quote by her. The judge, his name is Nick. So if you hear my name, it's going to be him, not me. He wants to see the 2 men that fought back so valiantly after he's already tried and hung Calico Jack and the drunk pirates that wouldn't fight. Anne and Mary go in front. They reveal their gender. He does not give a shit that they're female. He doesn't care. They're still pirates. He's still going to hang them. We plead our bellies was the last thing they screamed out because you can't hang a pregnant woman during 1720. It's illegal. So he sends them both back to jail, delays the hanging until after the pregnancies are over. But Dad is still here in South Carolina with all of his Irish money. He was an attorney back home, so he's got plenty of it. He bails out Anne, brings her back home. She remarries. That's husband number 2, but guy number 4. We're going to count Mary Reed because we don't really know. She has 4 kids, dies at the age of 84. Yes, very abrupt ending. I know. You looked at me like, shit, I was waiting for more. But Mary Reed, she dies a year later, 1721, from whatever pirates die from in a Jamaican jail. Use your imagination. Most books and articles are going to tell you that it was fever or something very basic. I'm going to call bullshit on that and say it was scurvious and nasty and gross. Make it romantic for yourselves. So use your own imaginations. I only left 2 questions out of this whole place because this is a free-for-all. You ask whatever the hell you want to. But 2 things for certain, just to get you started. The names of the parents. Anne's father and his mistress. I left those out of the story on purpose. I also left out the name of Calico Jack's ship, so you can ask what that is and hopefully we get an answer. Daniel, with yours, don't look at the numbers in this location. It's about the colors here. Ask Anne Bonny what her hair color is. She's going to show you. Hopefully, fingers crossed. It's the only place I've ever gotten a red on command. She did have red hair, indeed. I was trying to help out a spirit box person who was kind of struggling with it throughout the night. I said, let's go for something a little bit simple. It's the last stop. So I was asking, hopefully getting the answer out of here, and instead it came out of yours. So yeah, that was a few months ago, and it's been happening more and more ever since. So it's kind of like that's kind of the determiner of if we're going to get more activity. For those, we are going to spread out in this location. For those of you that want to get footage of the front of the powder magazine, you're going to have to exit the lot and go to the left in front of the bushes. Just don't interrupt the other tours, because other tours do stop there. If you want to go over to the cemetery and get some footage over there of where the sign is, again, don't interrupt the other tours. It is across the street, so kind of keep that in mind. Before we spread out, I'm going to tell you one more. I know you guys are all cold. You're all shivering to death. I'm going to keep you for one more minute. That is not paranormal. It's just a leaf. There's a reason about that heated warning at the top. So a year ago this past September, I brought my group of 10 back here, and the kid next to me goes white as a ghost. I literally have to pick him up by his armpit to stop him from hitting his head on the ground. His boyfriend picks him up from the other side, and we get him over to that brick wall over there, which is where you guys are going to come find me in 5 minutes after we spread out. We get him feeling better after a bottle of water, that kind of thing, and it was a nice cool night just like this. So he wasn't overdressed, no heat, no humidity. You guys get the picture. I then tell them the story of Ann Bonnie that I just told you. I spread everybody out with their devices for the last stop, and they pull me aside and say, Nick, we have to tell you, we are 2 transgender males, meaning I had 2 females dressed as males, just like Ann and Mary in the story, on the tour. This is the weird shit that I see, guys. Like, there's a reason why I give that warning. Psychics and mediums normally don't make it past the Pinckney Mansion site, if they're a legit psychic or medium. So, I have had some that kind of got through, but it was a lighter night in that space. So kind of keep that in mind. I do get a lot of psychics on the tour. But there's a reason why I give that heated warning at the top. I have had to call the paramedics several times. I'm not always going to dub something as being paranormal, but I cannot explain why 2 transgender males, why one of them passed out when I'm telling a story about 2 females dressed as men to be pirates. It made sense. So again, didn't have to call the paramedics that night. Dude was feeling fine afterwards, but you guys get the point of why I give that warning. So, spread out, have some fun. Did we hear anything, see anything before I spread you guys out?
When you started talking about the second guy, I heard great in bed.
Oh.
I said keep it family friendly.
It's
That one was Captain Jack, right?
Army, money, and dollar.
Army, money, dollar, good in bed. Wow, those kind of all go together, don't they?
Great in bed.
I heard very scary and then hello.
Clarification.
You said very scary.
And hello.
Was it Adele?
No, it was a guy. Just like hello.
And I was supposed to remind you for crying out loud.
For crying out loud, that's right. Look at
Ooh,
you.
she got trial.
Yeah, I saw that.
Oh.
I got
a lot more since then.
I don't have to write yours down because it's doing it for me. But what do you got?
Okay. Mine exceed Nick, comment, triumph, iron, basket, list, heart, secondary, and clear. It's cool.
So here's what I'm excited about. Basket, Sue Howard Hardy. Picture has the basket in it. Nick is relative in one of 3 ways. Obviously, I'm number 1. Nicholas Laws was the judge who tried Ann Bonnie. But on the other side of the powder magazine is the house of the first Chief Justice of the United States, Nicholas Trott. So that was just his cottage while he was waiting for his other house to be built, where Dock Street Theater sits now. Long story. But it is one relevant in one of ways. But you have the trial there specifically. So trial and Nick definitely go together to tell us it was Nicholas Laws. So if we hear something on another spirit box with the word Laws, definitely have the full name. Like, I'm excited about that. But basket's a good one too, because we had the 188 earlier. So again, we have a lot of things going on with Sue Howard Hardy right now, which is kind of cool too. And Dan was like, yeah, I don't want to know about dead babies. Like, that's not cool. So he just keeps giving me that look, like he just kind of keeps going back a little bit. What else have we heard? Like, you guys are on top of it. You guys got the gist of this now. What's coming up on our Ouija board? Anything? Been kind of a dud tonight, huh? Damn. All right, have some fun. Let's do this. Spread out. Again, come find me in 5 minutes. We'll determine if it's a keeper or if we're gonna, move on.
Well, let's go in front of the building.
I know, well, I think that's where everyone's going, so I think we'll just make our way there.
As soon as we start walking, it goes off.
Well, I paused it.
Oh.
Because it would have been loud the whole
Yeah.
time. The hard thing is I just don't. Everyone's going in the same truck.
You got that thing unmuted?
No, yeah, I unmuted it. It'll be like staticky. Like things will come through. I just can't make it out always.
So that I've had out here for about 6 months with the tours. So one of the first nights that I was using it, for a second or third night, I'm packing things up, and the person hands it back to me at this location, and it says pirate, like plain as day. Not part of a sentence, not part of like Pittsburgh Pirates won the game. It was just pirate.
Wow.
And the cool thing is that the person using the thermal imaging camera was standing right next to him, but we all heard it in real time, but we also had the audio. That's why I've been trying to pair this up with one of the cameras.
Yeah.
Because again, when something comes through, like it is legit.
Yeah.
Like, it's the most accurate spirit box we have.
Okay.
So I know you haven't heard much out of it, but it doesn't mean that there's not something on the camera.
Yeah.
Okay.
So is this what you guys thought you signed up for?
I had no idea.
This weirdness that I throw
cool.
at you?
This is
No,
really
it's
cool.
been cool.
Yeah.
No, yeah, because we've done one of the other ones you were talking about.
How was that?
It was fine.
This is more like of an experience. You know?
Yeah, that's the whole point of it.
Yeah.
And I know, like, don't get me wrong, like, there's some really great storytellers out here.
Yeah.
Oh, that was cool.
Yeah. It's just hard to hear exactly.
Yeah, wait till you get to the other recording. Like, that one's even worse. Because it's just, it's just going to keep coming at you. So you're going to be like, how the hell did he hear that?
Yeah.
But, yeah, your camera likes to act up in here, just so you know.
Okay.
It'll give us, like, some white lines going through it, and
Really?
then that person's device will stop working. That's happened on a handful of times for me.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's really weird.
Huh.
It's super weird. Be mindful. Some of these tours like to cut through here, so we're going to move over this way. Alright, so...
Yeah, this building like looks really haunted, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It looks really creepy.
Those are the hurricane things
Yeah.
I was talking about. You said you had to pee.
Yeah, I will afterwards.
You want to go in there?
No,
Rob?
not right now.
Okay. I think he said this is our last thing. Then let's go home. I want to cuddle in bed. To the bed. Angel.
Yeah.
Let's keep going this way.
Let's go in front of the building. You have to go around. What is this place now?
I don't know. Powder magazine.
It's like a restaurant? No, it's a museum.
Film in there. And Bonnie, what year did you die? And Bonnie, what was your partner's name? And Bonnie, where are you from? It's going up.
actually do need these back.
Maybe you want me to hold the thing. Okay, I'll go over here. And Bonnie, what was your partner's name? And Bonnie, what was your job? And Bonnie, what was your lover's
Samantha, let's go over here. To the crib. Miss. Well, I don't know. We might be meeting again.
I think they'll wave us over. Just keep walking around. And Bonnie, where did you get married?
I don't know. Have you heard anything?
Not really. I think I heard it say angel.
Yeah, Angel show up somewhere else tonight too.
Oh, really?
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna pull us over to the wall because nobody's giving me anything super like.
Okay.
Like I said, this is a hit or miss. Usually
Yeah.
the first 5 minutes, you know,
Yeah.
lots of things will start. I mean, I was excited about Trial and Nick, like we were gonna have a lot going on, but
Yeah.
you guys may have just missed things in real time.
Yeah.
Made it nice and easy, and she forgot. Alright, so for those of you running video, if you want to stop them, by all means do so, because we're going to be wrapping this up. Again, usually within the first 5 minutes, I was excited about